Quakers in Britain have a book of discipline. It's currently called Quaker Faith and Practice, and it's a book that tells us how Quakers approach different aspects of our faith and practice, and it's also a book of inspiration for individuals. Because it reflects our Quaker understandings, those change over time, and we as Quakers have an understanding that we can have that change, and we embrace that, and that our understandings about God and faith and the Spirit, the workings of the Spirit in the world, can change over time. And so that means that we need to revise and update what we write down.
Any publication coming from 1994, 1995 is by now somewhat out of date. Not just in practices, a significant one would be same-sex marriage that was introduced since the last publication, but also the Britain of the yearly meeting is quite a different Quaker group today. Many meetings are a lot smaller, and so there's a lot of practice that has shifted, and so it's our intention as a committee to write a book that reflects early 21st century Quakers in Britain. And we also have the wonderful opportunity of technology and the digital publication opportunities of this century to offer a variety of formats in the new book.
As time goes by, we need to make sure that we are talking to people in contemporary terms about contemporary issues, while holding on to the fact that the spirit doesn't change, but our understanding does. And our understanding of how to communicate with people is different. In language, in technology, in visual matter, all these things change over time, so we need to change the book.
Quakers are not alone as a faith community in having a book of discipline, but in our community we don't distinguish between the secular and the sacred, so we write our own book in a spirit of equality in our testimonies. So it is a book of Britain yearly meeting today in the 21st century, and it will reflect the diversity of the community today by Quakers, for Quakers, and for those interested in our faith who wish to encounter it.
The Book of Discipline Revision Committee was formed in 2018. Britain Yearly Meeting asked for us to start work to revise the whole book. So we knew that we were beginning by looking at the whole thing and what will a new Book of Discipline look like, including the fact of technology and changes to how we engage with text, and the possibility of including non-text material as well.
The committee is very supportive of the idea of diversity and of reaching out to all sorts of people, and is very aware of the need to have language in the book which people can relate to. We are very aware in Wales that we would like some Welsh in the book, as we have in the 94 book. It's part of the diversity of Britain Yearly Meeting to have more than one language, and that actually says to Welsh people, you're welcome. It also says to other people who have other languages, it's not just English that's important, that whatever language comes from your heart is important to you and therefore important to Quakers.
We started by thinking about what principles we wanted to work to, principles for how we work, but also the principles of how we want the book to be. And so we've been thinking about the underpinning spiritual insights and understandings that Quakers have, that we need to find the way to shine through in every part of the book. And then we thought about what topics would need to be included. So rather than looking at the current chapters, we've had a think about making a big list of all the different topics, a big kind of spreadsheet table, and thinking about what themes they fall into. And then from that, we've begun drafting text ourselves. So we've been thinking about what does this look like when we try and put it into practice, and how does it work drafting text. And we're working towards a time where we feel like we're beginning to understand more about what the voice of the book will sound like, and to be in a position where we're almost ready to think about sharing some draft text. Because we really want friends to feel involved with this, and we want them to be a part of it, and we want to share some draft text as soon as we're ready. Already, friends can be involved by making suggestions and submitting ideas for text that they either think they really wouldn't want to lose or that something new that they think would be helpful to us. And there's an online form on the Quaker website where you can do that. We also have an online project called Open to New Light, which is something called a Padlet. It's a way that you can share more creative content, including visual material, video recordings, ideas, jottings, all kinds of things. And we also are really happy to come and meet with friends and visit to meetings and talk about what we're doing, and most importantly to listen to what Quakers want to tell us about what's important to them in a book of discipline.
It's a very supportive committee. It's very joyful and very exciting to be part of a publication that has a strong future. So if you want us to come and visit your area meeting, please get in touch with us. You can do that through the website.